Welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk here at the Jackson Coffee Company. As you know, we're located in downtown Jackson, as well as on East Michigan Ave on the east side in the new Allegiance Specialty Center. Today's show, we're going to talk about our new roaster. We've got a brand new roaster, pulled out the old one about 2 weeks ago and put in a new one. This one's a lot different and a lot more sophisticated. The old one was a manual one that we had to control everything by hand, the time, the temperature, and although it produced some of the best coffee here in town, it allowed us to often have an inconsistent roast, meaning that, our El Salvador one day would taste this way, a week later it would taste a little different. And so we had trouble controlling the exact consistency of the coffee. Our new machine, which was a huge investment, they cost about $24,000. And that's a big investment for a company of our size. But we do a lot of wholesale to other coffee houses and businesses and restaurants here in the Jackson area, and it's well worth it for what this machine does. In this show, we're going to talk about the new roaster. It's an Ambex 10 with a computerized profiling system, and let's check it out. Here at the Jackson Coffee Company, we roast on an Ambex 10, which is a 22-pound roaster. We can put out about 88 pounds an hour on the roaster. One of the uniquenesses that we have here at the Jackson Coffee Company is the fact that the Ambex 10 has a computerized program system that allows us to roast our coffee according to the computer's data that we put into it. It's called a Roast Profile RT system. A very specialized program. In fact, we're the only one in Michigan to have that, and we're the only one that has the Ambex 10 with the Roast Profile system here in the Midwest. If you look behind me, you'll see that we have a computerized graph that allows us to put in specific profile points. Like we can tell this coffee when to crack, the exact time and minute to crack. On this example, we have a house blend here. It's set up for 15 pounds of coffee. And we can tell this coffee crack, the first crack at 12:15. We could tell at 12:17, 10 minutes. But for this particular roast, we've chosen 12 minutes and 15 seconds. We've chosen a second time to crack at 17.15. And then what is this down here is the temperatures. We can tell this coffee reach a certain temperature when your first crack, reach second temperature at a certain crack, and finally when it's all done and said, stop roasting at 454 degrees and empty out of the coffee out of the drum into the cooling tray. That's how sophisticated this computer system is. It's down to the exact minute of whatever you want this coffee to do. And what it does is we put all the parameters in. We call it creating a profile. And on this profile graph is a blue line. And it tells us how do we want this coffee roasted. What did we tell it to do? And it plots it out. And then once we start it up, all these other graphs come to life, and the time and the temperature, and they tell us how close did we get to that actual roast. And if I look at how we roasted the last one here, I love what's called the equilibrium point, 151. That's a great time. Some people call it the turning point. When do the beans start to turn back up and start roasting? We've nailed that exactly. I'm a little unhappy, quite frankly, with this area right in here. And what we'll do, we'll make a couple of changes. We're pretty much right on, but I like it to be specifically right on when we roast. And so the point is, we can actually change the parameters of this and make it exact. Now, what does that mean to a coffee buyer like yourself? What that means is, one, we can control the taste of your coffee. If there's a certain taste you're looking for, we can pull that out of the coffee. We can also maximize the flavor of each coffee. Here at the Jackson Coffee Company, we have about 15, 16 different countries, and with our blends, we have about 21, 22 different blends and coffees to pick and choose from. With this system, the Ambex 10, we can maximize the flavor of each coffee, whether it be a Papua New Guinea, a Colombian, a Costa Rican. Each of them have their own taste profile. And this computerized system allows us to pull out that specific flavor of each coffee. And nobody here in Jackson or in Michigan or in the Midwest has the Ambex 10 with the computerized system. We're the only one. And it's such a great system. The second thing it does is it allows us to use the same profile each time, meaning that for your house blend, it will be the same next time and the time after. So what I like to do is fire up the roaster, show you how it's done, and watch the graphs and show you how perfectly we can roast a batch of coffee. So what we would do is turn on the main switches, and we're going to let it heat up, and we'll come back and we'll go out, weigh out maybe some Yirgacheffe. I love Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. They've been producing some great coffees. So let's weigh some of that out. Let's put it in the roaster, and we'll walk through it together. Well, we're in our back room where we store a lot of our coffee. You'll see behind me a world map there. We'll talk about that in a second. But we have bins of coffee. This is where we keep our coffee from Papua New Guinea, Costa Rica. And most people have obviously heard of Colombian Supremo, Excelso, all over the country that we have coffee. But what I want to do is weigh out 6 pounds of the Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. Now, a lot of people don't realize what green coffee looks like. But it comes to us like this, a green form. It's a hard, waxy bean. If you were to bite into that, you might even break your tooth. It's that hard of a bean. And we only buy here at the Jackson Coffee Company Arabica coffee beans. We don't get into the Robustas. Some companies try to cut you down on price and undercut stuff by using an inferior bean. We don't do that here at the coffee company. We just use the Arabica, the higher elevation, the hard beans, and we pay a little bit more, but you're getting the best cup of coffee that you can get. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put the Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, the 7 pounds, in the top bin. You want to make sure your lever's closed. It sits up there, and what we'll do is we'll go to the computer here, and we're going to switch out the parameters that we have, and we're going to obviously change coffees. We're roasting the Yirgacheffe, not the Ethiopian, right there. Right there. So we have the Ethiopian up, and we're going to roast 7 pounds. And we're just going to tell it to start. And now what you're going to see is the roaster burners come on. So if the camera comes over, you'll see it start to heat up, and the roaster will be coming on. You'll see a red glow, and eventually the burners kick on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the temperature to heat up. And it tells you right here what your temperature is. And once it reaches 330 degrees, the alarms are going to go off telling us to drop the coffee in the bin of the drum of the roaster. And so we'll just wait now until it heats up. See you back in a minute. Well, here's what we're going to have happen. We're going to have this temperature heat up to 330 degrees. It's preheating the drum. And the computer, which is over in the corner, I don't think I showed you that, but the sophisticated computer system for this roaster is there in the corner. That's what is the brains of this whole operation here. But once this heats up to the 330, an alarm's going to go off. And that's going to tell us drop your green beans into the drum. And then you'll see the graphs take off. And so we've got about 5 degrees yet to go. Won't take long at this point. And so the machine's going to take over and roast the coffee. Now it's saying put the green coffee in the drum. And so we've opened up the hopper into the main drum. In fact, you can see the coffee now in the drum itself through the glass. And basically we're just going to wait. Now you'll see what's happened here as we set our set point at 330, and now the temperature, the furrows are reading the temperature of the bean. It's going to drop down here, and then it's going to put the profile on the map, and we've told it, here's our first crack mark, here's our second crack mark. And it's all going to light up here in just a second. You're going to see what's called the equilibrium point, although a lot of roasters call it the turning point. It's going to come to life. It's really just about ready to start. And about 150 to 170 is the range that you will want to hit, and it looks like we're going to be right on with that.